Hello, everyone. This is Big Dan with Southern Extreme Sports Talk. Just coming to you today. We're going to have the second episode of The Sharks Are Circling. And our recipient today of that is going to be the Ole Miss Rebels, number 18 on the AP ranking. Just wanted to kind of come in and be the bearer of bad news, I guess. I don't think it's a big shock, but with the schedule that they have left in the SEC, and overall they are 5-2, and they're 1-2 in the conference. Just wanted to give you their stats, kind of where they're sitting at right now, and what they're fighting. Right before they played LSU this past weekend, on the show that I did for the matchup between LSU and Ole Miss, I explained to everyone that the two important games, the two big games against big competition, Jackson Dart, his numbers fell dramatically against those two teams. And as they played LSU, that played out too. He was only 24 of 42, 284 yards, one touchdown. He had one interception. His quarterback rating was 52.5. Now, Garrett Nussmeyer's for LSU was 22 of 51 for 337, had three touchdowns, two interceptions. His rating was 72.7. But here's kind of the reason for that. Ole Miss is, they got a strong defensive line. They're great against the run. But anyway, let me give you these stats. We're going to talk a little bit more why they have such a problem with so many, with the Sharks circling so bad for them. As far as the reason they're probably not going to make the playoffs now. They'll make a bowl game, but the playoffs is pretty much out probably, unless they win a bunch of games. They come in to this weekend. They're off this weekend, but they come into this weekend. They are on defense. They are number three in the nation on points. They only give up 10.6 points a game. So in regulation to LSU, they'd given up 23 points. They lost in overtime to LSU 29-26. But in total yardage, they're 16th in the nation. They give up 289.4. Now against LSU, they give up 421 yards. So they give up a whole lot more yards than what they normally average. On their pass defense, they only give up 222.9. They give up 337. Over 100 more yards. They give up three touchdowns to him. Rushing, they're number one in the nation. They only give up 66.6 yards a game. They give up 84 to LSU. LSU didn't run the ball a lot and didn't have to. It was, Ole Miss does have a great defense as far as on the rushing, but we run for 84 yards. We pass for 337. But anyway, on offense, Ole Miss is 11th in the nation. They average 41.4 points a game. Of course, they only scored 23 in regulation, kicked a field goal in the overtime, so they had 26 points against LSU. So they were 15 points less than what they averaged. Total yardage, they're second in the nation, 583.8 yards per game they average. Against LSU, they only put up 464 yards. They had 284 passing, 180 rushing. So they were more. There's 120 yards less than what they average. Passing wise, they're third in the nation. They average 360.1 yards a game. Like I say, they only passed for 284 yards. So they were 80 yards less than what they normally pass for. Now, the one thing that really did stand out is that their top receiver in that game, Trey Harris, he dropped a pass wide open he should have had that would have been probably a touchdown. But you got to make the plays. That's why we play the game. Rushing, offensively, they're 30th overall. They average 200.6 yards a game. They rushed for 180. They had one touchdown passing, one touchdown rushing. That's it. LSU played a great ball game on defense, held when they needed to, made the plays on offense when they had to. You know, Ole Miss should have probably won the game, but at the end of the day, they didn't. And that's the reason why they didn't win the game, because their quarterback don't perform in the big games. His numbers drop off tremendously. That's something I called out that I noticed before the game, and it come out that it turned out that way during the ball game also. So that's another little aspect of the game that helps toward their demise. That's why the Sharks are in the water circling right now. That's why they're not going to make the playoffs. So they're looking at we'll look at their schedule real quick. At the rest of their schedule. Let's go to the. Now, Ole Miss is they paid a lot of money to some players, and they're getting the production out of the defensive line. They got a tough defensive line, but Ole Miss is oh doggone! I went to my team schedule. LSU. Let's see here. Ole Miss. Okay. Here we go. We got Ole Miss's schedule. All right. Now, they're off this weekend. The 26th of October next weekend, they're going to have Oklahoma at home. Then they'll go to Arkansas. Then they got Georgia at home. So you have 3 tough ball games right there that they're going to have. They'll end the year out at Florida and Mississippi State at home. So they'll win the Egg Bowl probably. The Florida game's going to end up being a little tighter, I think, than people expect. Florida played Tennessee very tough this past weekend. Tennessee did win in overtime, but that's going to be a little tougher ball game than people anticipate, I believe, because it's at Florida in the swamp. But the Georgia game's going to be a tough one. You know, Georgia's going to be fighting for their life because Georgia's fixing to play Texas and probably get annihilated at Texas. So Georgia's going to be on the bubble, so they really going to be playing hard. But Oklahoma and Arkansas ain't no pushover. So they're going to have 3 tough mentally ball games back to back to back. And that's why I say the Sharks are circling Ole Miss. I don't see them coming out in any scenario where they're going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you, now that they have 2 losses, you know, on the schedule, right? I mean, already. And then they probably got 1 or 2 losses on the schedule coming out. But anyhow, I wish you, if you like the content, like and subscribe, share the content if you don't mind, help my channel grow. I appreciate you, and sorry you had to end up on the Sharks Are Circling edition, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometime. Thank you very much. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.